Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Obviously, that last piece was in many ways an homage to Shylock's monologue in Merchant of Venice. And obviously, earlier on, I'm bringing out a lot of stereotypes about African Americans, blacks, and then try and kind of flip that back over and show how a lot of those characteristics seem to be in others as well. And hopefully, towards the end, you know, Shylock's great closing to his monologue, you know, the villainy you teach me, I will execute, and it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction. Hopefully that came out at least a little bit. This next kind of piece that I wanted to do for you relates actually to something that's close to me. I'm a violinist, many of you might know, and it started when I was 5, and I was very, very lucky early on to have one of really the world's greatest violin teachers, Vladimir Grafman. He brought the Russian school over over to the United States and taught the likes of Joseph Gingold and others who taught the likes of Joshua Bell and many major touring soloists today. And I used to walk up to 72nd Street, New York, and take my lessons. And unfortunately, he was very elderly, and I was one of his last students, and he died when I was studying with him. And it was the first death that I actually dealt with as a human being. So I wrote a poem about it, and it's called My First Teacher. Mr. Grafman was old, Russian immigrant. His apartment was brown, I remember. I was only 7. It was East Side, Midtown. He'd always say, "You no talk, you play." He was dedicated with my talent evident. He would sit at the big black grand piano, ejecting praise, criticism, like a little hobbit. I'd correct the mistakes quickly, muttering. He'd question my practice, our sincerity. He'd always say, "You no talk, you play." I was black. Boy, that was different. After Lalo was concluded, his offerings complete, anguishing, I gauged his satisfaction, rarely recognizing his mood. Passing the bar meant one of those candies, my pick of color even, from that crystal jar, sparkling on the side table, oasis amongst the earthen tapestries. He'd always say, "You no talk, you play." I'd loosen my bow, pack my violin, music and sugar succulent. More often than not savoring, I'd return home with orange tongue, my favorite flavor, sliding the rickety gate shut as I pulled the elevator lever, always returning to the lobby late. That ride almost as fun as the Bartok duets. There was no practice time to prepare for when he died. That time, I would have complied. He'd always say, "You no talk, you play."